behalf of the County Commission, we appreciate you being here this evening. We hope you had a happy Thanksgiving, and now everybody can rest, and thank goodness we had plenty to eat, and I'm hoping everyone got to spend some time with their family, and we're thankful for all that we have here in Marion County. So at this time, I would like to ask Commissioner Rollins if he would lead us in our invocation, please.
Our most kind and gracious Heavenly Father, Lord, we're thankful, Lord, for another day that you gave us, Lord, a beautiful day. Lord, we're thankful for all the blessings, Lord, that you bestowed upon us as we've come out of this time of Thanksgiving. Lord, truly we can never thank you for all that you've done for us. And tonight, Lord, I pray that you would just touch each one of us, Lord, that we would make the right decisions, Lord, godly decisions, decisions that's right for our county, for our people today. Help us each one, Lord, to see things the way that we ought to see them. Lord, let us do everything that you'd have us to do here this evening. In Jesus' sweet name we ask.
Amen.
Amen.
Madam Clerk, if you could lead us in the pledge, please.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Before you have roll call here, I would like to welcome our newest commissioner, Mr. Jimmy Cantrell. Just wanted to recognize you there. I know you had the latest election came through, and so we want to welcome you to the commission. All right, Madam Clerk, roll call if you don't mind.
All right. Commissioner Abbott?
Here.
Commissioner Atkins?
Here.
Commissioner Blansett?
Here.
Commissioner Blevins? Commissioner Brandt?
Here.
Commissioner Campbell?
Here.
Commissioner Cantrell?
Here.
Commissioner Franklin?
Here.
Commissioner Hargis?
Here.
Commissioner Mason? Here. Commissioner Morrison?
Here.
Commissioner Nunley?
Here.
Commissioner Rollins?
Here.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Present.
Commissioner Thompson?
Here.
All right, thank you. Next agenda item is approval of minutes from the previous meeting. I'm sure everyone had an opportunity to look over those in your packets, and I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion.
Motion made to approve. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Thank you. Okay, agenda item number 6, approval of resolution, TDEC and Marion County contract for surface sewage disposal inspections. Mayor Jackson.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Several months ago, the commission voted to hire a septic inspector for the county because it's taken 5, 6, 7 months for people to get sewer inspection done with the state. And we hired Bradley Baxter as our sewer inspector, and he's been shadowing with TDEC, which is part of the law. He had to shadow for about 4 months. So we now have this resolution and contract with the state. Took about 3 months to get that, to enter into agreement with the state of Tennessee to do the sewer inspections, which will be handled through the building inspector's office. The fees will be paid to the building inspector's office. Instead of being paid to the state to have that service done. And of course, that'll be turned into the trustee's office, and that's what will pay for Mr. Bradley's position. So if you have any questions about the resolution or anything, I'll ask those to our county attorney.
Yes, sir,
So
Commissioner.
this goes through the health department?
Goes through our building inspector's office. He'll actually work for us, not the health department.
Any other questions? All right.
Motion to approve.
We have the resolution. There's a motion made to approve the resolution. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Second. All in favor saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Motion carries. Okay. Agenda item number 7, approved contract mental health transport. Mayor Jackson.
Already got
Already
it.
go.
You had that contract. You went over.
I did.
There was only one bid.
That's
submitted.
one bid, yes.
Right. And I think you have it in your packet for approval. No issues with contract.
And the sheet that was left in front of you is what the cost would be for transports.
This is what, of course, Nikki
Is last month?
presented to you all from the sheriff's department. The grant's gonna pay, at least for the initial part of this service.
You know, free up officers from having to make the transport to Chattanooga, being tied up 2 or 3 hours. Valley or Washington, some of those places that have to transport, so I'll free that up. It is grant money, so.
Who is the transporter?
Amerimed is the
Amerimed.
name of the company.
And they're out of where?
They're in, I didn't bring contact with me, I can't remember the location.
I took bid of the contract, I took
And
no bid.
I reviewed it and left it on my desk.
I'm having problems remembering the discussion on this. Is this gonna be a reoccurring grant that pays for this, or?
It's initially a two-year grant. After that, you'll have to decide if you want to continue using a third-party service provider, if you want to go back to having the sheriff's department do the transport.
Is there a cap on the dollar amount?
There is, yeah.
What is that
I
cap?
want to say she gave those specifics, was it $25,000? I don't have that with me. That was what Nikki presented, I'm sorry. Sorry, I don't remember the
No,
details.
that's
on the
fine.
grant.
I was just kinda
The sheriff's
curious.
not here, so.
Do we need to approve this tonight for the grant purposes, or
Do we need to table it?
I think there's a deadline,
There is a deadline.
and there's also a deadline on the bid.
so if I remember correctly, there's a 100% grant for funding of this, so there's no funds coming out of.
Right, correct.
At least until the grant.
And
unless
it's
the
a,
grant
it's a
funds
two-year
expire.
contract,
That's correct.
non-renewable at the end of 2 years, and if we want to continue on, we can.
Correct.
Unless we go over a certain amount of money
Or,
during that year.
yeah,
Correct.
yeah.
Correct.
Is that per year, or is that total grant?
Total grant.
So $25,000 total?
So if we run out of money in the first year, can we opt out of the second year?
You just have to go back.
Talking about on the grant itself, the grant would be,
Well,
you're
this is
talking about on the
two-year
contract. Yes, no, you would be obligated on the contract to pay this price, whether it's grant funds or general funds.
But could you still choose, say, if you make it 18 months in and you exceed that $25,000 and you say, okay, we're out of money, Sheriff, would you mind to pick this back up? Are we obligated to use these folks still?
Yes.
For two, yeah.
And I don't know how much you're spending now, budget-wise, because it's coming out of the sheriff's department.
Can we do a one-year contract, and if we still have money, renew it for a second year?
You could do that with the approval of Amerimed, if they would agree to that, Commissioner Schaefer, then, something you just have to have. Since they're the only bidder, you can negotiate with them. You're not locked in to what they propose, since there are no other bidders.
Because I think their mileage rate is awful high compared to when you come in and look at the basic rates that they're charging besides.
Could we put a clause in that contract, Billy, to make it an opt-out the second year of either party? If they would agree to that.
If they would agree to
Do it
that,
1 year,
yes.
then do opt-out, either party could opt out of it if we didn't like that.
If they would agree to that, yes, you could.
Okay. I think we ought to negotiate that with them.
Yeah, I think so too, because instead of getting stuck with it for
Because
2
we have to have an
years.
escape bucket, because if we're gonna be on the hook if we run out of money,
Yeah,
Well, I don't like being on the hook. Do you?
neither do I.
no.
And here's something else to look at. Who is gonna determine if it's a ALS2 emergency or if it's a ALS1 non-emergency, which is $400 difference?
Yeah.
Are they gonna be the ones determining that, or?
Yeah, we need
is
a little bit
somebody
more
gonna be
clear
there? I mean,
language in
Well,
there.
Just because you got a guy
Because
that's
Because if they
combative.
have that ALS2 and that's what they do a lot, we'll run out of money very quickly.
You've got 39 of
Put it that
those
way.
available to you on need.
Yeah.
ALS two. Just roughly, you've got 39 times to use that service over a period of 2 years.
Yeah. And,
And they transport several
Yes.
in a month.
yeah,
3 or 4 weeks.
Yes.
yeah. So you'd run out of money very quickly and get a big bill.
Yes.
That'd
I'd
be
like
more-
to ask, we revisit this for the sheriff from a budgeting standpoint. How many trips we're making on a monthly basis?
I can tell you how many, there's a lot.
A lot, yeah.
Who determines,
Weekly.
3 or 4 a week at minimum.
who determines that it is a mental health problem?
That's normally done by, if they're incarcerated, it's done by an outside, psychiatrist comes in, evaluates them. If it's it's called a CON, a certificate of need, at the hospital, if you get somebody that's withdrawing or somebody that's got mental health that's at the hospital, then they would pick them up from the hospital, or a lot of times we have to hold them in our jail facility until they can be transported.
And if I remember right, this doesn't include the people that you transport from the jail. It has to be people that you transport from the hospital.
I think it covers both of
I
them.
think it
That's
does.
what she said. That's not what she said last time.
That's what Nikki said. That's not what the contract said.
I'd like clarification on that.
Yeah.
It's supposed to cover both of them, both the hospital and the jail.
The contract covers transports, period. It doesn't really matter
When
where
she
it's
was
written.
talking about the grant, she said the grant wouldn't cover from the jail.
Because we have to transport them from the hospital and the
Yeah.
jail right now in the stands, so.
I make a motion to table until the next meeting.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign. Okay. Moving on, agenda item number 8, discussion process for replacement of county road commissioner.
Mr. Chairman, I'll address that and answer any questions any commissioners may have. There was a memo included in the meeting packet that gave the details procedurally, statutorily, the process you all will follow subsequent to the retirement of Road Superintendent Jim Hawk, which, as I understand, has now become effective. I think there was some question or confusion about whether it would be effective November 30th, the last day of the month of November, but it's my understanding, and I know Andy's here, he can confirm that Jim has already retired. Is that correct? So to really initiate that process, by statute, Superintendent Hawk left a succession letter with the county clerk, and I think, Madam Clerk, you have that letter tonight, correct? So, Mayor, I think the appropriate thing would be for her to open it now and see who his successor was named.
This is the designation letter of interim successor pursuant to TCA 54-7-107. I hereby designate, it looks like it's Mr. Morrison, but he's written it Anthony B., but I don't know if that's correct or not, okay? I was trying to read his writing, so you have to forgive me here. By either name, title, position held to serve as the interim successor for the office of Chief Administrative Officer of the Highway Department of Marion County, Tennessee. The interim successor shall fulfill all duties of the office of Chief Administrative Officer as prescribed by law. The interim shall serve until such time as a qualified successor is chosen in the manner specified by law. The interim successor shall only serve if the office of Chief Administrative Officer of the County Highway Department is vacated as a result of death, resignation, or removal of the Chief Administrative Officer. Designation of interim successor is made the second day of September 2020. James H. Hawk, County Highway Department Chief Administrative Officer.
Does that say 2020 or 2022? 2020, okay.
That's what
So this is the original letter.
He signed it then.
So, having said that, then Mr. Morrison would be the interim successor by law until someone else, or he is appointed by this board to fill the term of Superintendent Hall, which would be the remainder of his term that would expire in 2024.
By law, we have to advertise
Correct.
the position.
That's correct. You have to, as I stated in the memo, the first notice requirement is a notice from the clerk that's a notice to you all as commissioners that the office is vacant. That notice can be waived. Commissioner Morrison asked that question before the meeting. So since you all have actual notice of the vacancy, you all can vote to waive that notice, which eliminates that requirement. That then leaves the only notice required to be the one from the chairman that is published in the newspaper that gives the public notice of the vacancy and then establishes the time frame for appointment of a permanent successor. And by law, that appointment has to be made within 120 days of the vacancy. So within basically 4 months.
Make a motion, Mr. Chairman, that we waive the notification to the
Second.
commissioners.
Second.
There's a motion, a second, to waive the notification. All in favor saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Okay.
What I would then add from that, Mr. Chairman, as stated in the memo, there is a process to be followed. The public has the right to nominate someone to be appointed as the successor, but that name, once it's submitted by a member of the public, still has to be nominated by a county commissioner. Only those who are nominated by county commissioners can be considered for voting by the county commission for the replacement. The other thing that is unique to the road superintendent position, any person nominated or considered and voted on by this board to be a replacement has to be certified by the state certification board to be a road superintendent. So as part of the nomination process, anyone whose name is submitted should also be required to submit proof that they have received the certification from the state to hold the position.
And we'll put that in notification requirements.
Can we go ahead and run that notification next week?
If we can get to the paper by 10
Next
o'clock.
week, next couple of weeks,
Thursday,
next week or something.
If we get the paper by 10 o'clock, Thursday, it'll be next week.
We need to put that form of motion, and we need to set the date for when we're.
Well, you will need to set the date. If you're, I know it's on the agenda if you all to consider whether you're gonna have a December meeting. Typically, you do not. So if you're not gonna hold a December meeting, then I would assume you would fill the vacancy at your January 2023 meeting. And we just need to know that for preparation of the notice.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we change the order of discussion on the agenda, jump down to the December meeting, and then come back and revisit this.
Okay, that's, sounds good. There's a motion and a second to jump down, or actually move down to 16, to discuss our December meeting. So motion and a second, all in favor saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. So moving down to agenda item number 16, we always, in the past, we have basically not met in December unless there was an emergency in the county and we had a called meeting at that time. But it's to the commission's discretion of what you'd like to do.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we have our December meeting on December 19th.
Okay.
Second.
I second.
There's a motion made and a second.
Would
Yes, sir.
that qualify for them being able to vote on the road superintendent if we do it on the 19th? Do we meet all the requirements to do it then?
No, we can't get the notice in the paper
120
soon enough to
So
satisfy.
when's the soonest?
later.
I don't think you could do it honestly by your regular 26th meeting date.
Oh, okay.
Because of the publication deadlines for the local paper.
Can we have a special meeting?
You could have a special call meeting if you wanted to. Or you could have a regular
26th.
meeting, but on a date that would be far enough out to allow the,
We have one between the 26th and the first of the year, or is that?
publication deadline for next week's paper will be this Thursday, correct?
Thursday.
Yes.
It has to be in the paper for 30 days.
Yes.
So it wouldn't come out till the 6th of December.
Yeah, so we're looking at January.
Since I don't know, some of the names have been tossed out here, is there a way for us to interview these people that were,
Yes.
that get nominated?
Statute does allow that, does allow for the commission to request statements of qualification from potential nominees as well as interview them. That's at your discretion.
Okay.
Mr. Miller, I don't see where, the 30-day period,
There is no statutory 30-day notice, but we've always followed the 30-day notice for vacancies.
Okay.
You all don't have to follow that.
I'd like to amend my motion. I make a motion that we have an emergency meeting on January 9th to consider the road commission, all those that are brought before us that meet the qualifications, so we can then vote on it on our January 23rd meeting.
Restate that, Mr. Schaefer. Sorry.
So Commissioner Schaefer, repeat that again. You're wanting to have a special call meeting on the 9th?
The 9th of January 20,
Uh-huh,
because that would allow for the 30 days.
okay.
So
To interview?
we can interview all those who have qualified for it, so we can make our decision at our regular meeting on the 23rd.
I would suggest having a workshop instead of a meeting.
Okay,
Well,
Do it as a workshop instead of a scheduled meeting.
schedule is a workshop then.
We do that. I think that'd be better.
So Commissioner Schaefer has amended his motion to change to a commissioner workshop on the 9th of January
Correct.
instead of having a meeting in December.
Correct.
That's correct.
Correct, yes, sir.
My suggestion, because just because we've always done it that way, don't mean it's always the right way to do it.
Right.
So why don't we have a workshop per se, like he says, on the 19th or even the 26th? And then
Courthouse is closed.
Yeah, we won't know that,
the 27th.
yeah, especially if we give 30 days for notification for somebody to submit.
Well, we
She
don't
said
have
she
to.
doesn't.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, we don't have to. It's not required.
Well, I have a motion, so, excuse me, Commissioner Mason, we have a motion to have a called meeting on January the 9th.
Workshop.
Workshop. Have a workshop on January the 9th, and then our normal meeting in the end of January there. So there's a motion by Mr. Schaefer, is there a second?
I'll second it.
Second. All in favor, saying aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign?
Nope.
So we have a no from Commissioner Mason and a no Commissioner Morrison?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
Time on that meeting. Whatever y'all like, 5, 6.
5 o'clock.
5, whatever works for the commission.
Is that good with Commissioners, 5 o'clock on January the 9th? That's okay? And on January the 9th, it's a workshop for discussion and interview process of the road superintendent's job.
All right, one question, Mr. Chairman. For participation in the workshop, you know the process for names to be provided to you all for consideration. That's separate from the nomination for the position. So is there a specific process you want these interested parties to follow so that they can participate in the workshop on January the 9th? You just want them to show up and allow anybody that's qualified to participate, or
Well, I mean,
something more formal than that?
Show up with proper
Proof of their certification?
Resume, proof of certification and resume.
yeah,
Is that,
sounds
That's
good to me.
And if we want, we can set a time for them 30 minutes apart so that
Interview them?
they're not hearing other people speaking, so that it would be private.
so in the notification process, you'd like to request certification and resume? If anyone that would be nominated as part of the notification.
general work experience.
Mr. Chairman, do you think it would be better if we put in the ad that they notify the mayor of their intentions to attend the workshop? That way we could get
At
a
least
number where we're looking at 5 or 2
Yeah,
or
number.
12 or
How many
whatever the case
people?
may be. Is that something that we would be able to do, Mr. Gallagher?
I think you are, because you're able to set the parameters for your interview process. So if you want to establish a deadline for interested parties to provide their certification and other credentials to the mayor, to the chairman, whatever you all direct.
I think that would make things less chaotic if we knew ahead of time.
And then you've got time to check, make sure all their certifications and
Yes.
stuff are,
Yes.
legit, and that way you can go from there. That way you're kinda not wasting time with, people who might not qualify.
Do we wanna set that on the 18th then, say 4 o'clock, 4 PM on the 18th?
It just,
Do
I guess
what?
depends on how long it takes to
4
check
o'clock
your
on the 18th,
certification.
To notify the mayor that they will be presenting their certifications at the workshop, or we'll know how many we've got.
18th through December.
And at that time, the mayor can get them allotted time to
Yes.
be here. Yes.
The 18th,
That's a
Commissioner Morrison, that's a Sunday.
Let's back up to Friday.
January 18th is a Wednesday.
No,
Wait a minute.
December.
December 18th?
Back up to that Friday.
16.
Well, that's only gonna give them 2
Friday.
weeks.
Counselor, can
We have no-
can you set the date of this notification prior to your 30 days?
Well,
Notification.
I think you can, like Commissioner Mason said, I mean, you're not statutorily obligated to follow the 30-day requirement. This is what you all have followed for vacancy, filling vacancy in positions in the past. But the workshop's gonna be on the 9th of January, but you're gonna have the deadline for qualifications to be submitted on the 17th of December.
No.
That's what I was questioning.
Yes, it should be the 8th.
8th of January.
Yes, I'm sorry.
Well,
What we'll have is you're gonna do that so we can get and schedule a meeting, that'll be in by January the 4th, that's a Wednesday. They give time to set the times they need to be here.
Email the commission to let them know.
Yes.
And it gives time to check certifications and all that. That's the.
January the 4th,
4 p.m.
4 p.m.
4 PM.
So Commissioner Marshall, you're saying the submission of candidates by the 4th and their resumes or their information by that date as well, so we can
To the mayor.
Yeah.
So that's the close date.
Yes.
We will accept, okay.
You gonna post that in the paper?
We just
Right.
want to make sure it's correct in the paper that the commissioners. All right, any other discussion?
I want to make sure, Mr. Chairman, that everybody understands, including the members in the audience, so that this workshop and the interviews of potential candidates by law have to be open to the public. And you can exclude the individual candidates and interview them one at a time, but the interview process itself has to be open to the public. So if anybody wants to attend and witness that process, then they have the right to do that.
One question. You said the public could put a name in?
They can.
So how's that
To the
process work?
commissioner.
To the commissioner, and the commissioner has to
Has to
nominate
nominate.
them.
Any registered voter.
Yeah, any registered voter.
But they still have to meet the same qualifications as anybody. Okay.
Yeah, you can't consider anybody formal that doesn't have the certification.
Okay.
But now, according to that, they would have to be nominated
By commissioner.
by commissioner, and probably that would have to be done tonight.
No, that would be done at the meeting where you're gonna vote on.
And how,
That's the process.
Submit.
I guess if they're gonna be nominated, they would be there.
Yeah, they gotta be.
The statute says the person either has to be present or they have to have provided notice prior to the meeting that they are willing to accept the appointment and are qualified for the appointment, if they're not present at the meeting where the vacancy's filled.
But they have to be nominated before January 4th.
No, they can be nominated by a county commissioner on the night of the vote.
Okay.
So just because they participate in the workshop doesn't mean they've been nominated. That just means they're qualified to hold the seat. Okay, there's a difference.
All right, any other questions? Hearing none, Mr. Gallagher. Attorney Gallagher.
I think I'm ready.
Okay, moving on, agenda number 9, Donald Leonard, Old High Road. Mr. Leonard, are you here?
Mr. Chairman, we still haven't completed discussion on the December meeting.
I'll make a motion, we have no meeting, there's no reason for it.
No, no more.
I'll second.
I'll say-
Motion and a second, not to have a meeting in December. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign.
Opposed.
Opposed.
So Commissioner Schaefer is opposed and Commissioner Franklin opposed. Okay. Thank you.
We haven't heard my discussions yet.
Moving on, agenda number, item number 9, Mr. Linder, do you hear?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Mr. Linder, if you could, if you want to step up to the podium here, please, sir. Here on the right.
Yes, sir. I've been living in Whiteside of almost 20 years now, and I've taken care of the road I live on myself. And I've never been thanked or never been helped by the county. And with the road they just fixed, I call it a disgrace. Because trying to run a business, and it's just a terrible road. And no one's ever helped us, no one's ever helped me. And I'm just being respectful about it. They did show up, fix the ditch, but it's just a terrible road. And when you're trying to start a business in Whiteside, which there ain't any, we're just trying our best, and we're not getting it from the county. And that's all I have to say. I'm very thankful that the county the road department did show up and did what they could, but it just needs to be done better. We're trying to start a business and help this place, and we need help. Thank you.
Mr. Leonard,
Yes, sir.
what type of business can you?
You'd say campgrounds, for people that are coming in and out of town, and through town. And it's more attractive because you got a rest area on both sides of the county. In Georgia, we're kind of in the middle. We're trying to bring business and make this part of Whiteside better.
What work did they do?
Right now, they're working on the bottom side of the road, but they came up, fixed the ditch, brought in a lot of gravel and stuff, but it's never paved. That stuff they did isn't gonna last.
Are you saying the highway department?
Yes.
Is it
And
Mr.
I was
Morrison?
mainly here to talk but the man has retired now. So I'm being respectful and just saying thank you for what they have done here in the past 2 weeks. But it's just a quick fix. It's not gonna last.
Okay, is it Mr. Morrison?
Yes.
Mr. Morrison, you should be aware of what's going on over there. Can you tell us anything about it?
Yes, I talked to him on the phone.
Yes.
And he said him and Jim had an agreement years ago. I don't know anything about it. But as soon as I talked to him, we went up there and ditched it. We went back and we tarred and chipped, and we're still tarred and chipped. But they didn't finish today.
Okay, he's saying that it's not sufficient. Maybe we just need to go look at it, y'all.
How many people live on that road?
For years, it was just one lady. And then about 20 years ago, I moved up there when it used to be the campgrounds for the off-road club. And I've been mainly doing it myself for 20 years. And I used to come to the meetings a lot, and it was just some people never knew it was a county road, all the way up to Miss Darlene's house. And it's just, it needs to be fixed for a long time instead of just a patch here and a patch there. And me and Mr. Hawk had many discussions about this, and he didn't accomplish anything he promised. And that's just the most respectful way to put it. It's a county road on the other side of the tracks, and we're trying to bring business and jobs and stuff, and we're hoping the county's wanting to help us. Because I've been doing it myself for almost 20 years. I get the, gravel from the trains, they give me gravel and stuff. I've been doing it for so long. Just ready to fix it right.
The length of that road,
It's what, they call it 1/10 from, once you go over the tracks, pretty much to Miss Darlene's house, then it becomes a private road.
You're talking about fixing the part that's Mr. Morrison? Tell him to stand up.
Yeah.
You're behind this podium, stand up for me.
you can't see.
Come up to the podium where you talk. The road is a county road,
Yes,
and y'all tarred and chipped it?
yes. They're still working on it. If
Oh,
they
you
didn't
ain't got it
finish-
finished
If
yet?
they didn't finish today, they didn't like much.
Okay, so they're working on your problem, what you're talking about. Okay. That's, really between you and him. If it's a county road, then you need to be talking to him.
Yes, and I'd have many conversations with Mr. Hall.
Well, I know Mr. Hawk's not in the mix of it right now.
I understand that, and I know the reason why.
Any other questions for Mr. Leonard?
No, that's all I have.
Thank you.
Mr. Leonard, thank you.
Thank y'all very much.
Yes, sir. Agenda item number 10, Tom Morgan, concerning railroad crossing in Whiteside area. Mr. Morgan?
Well, give me a second. I didn't print it off enough for everybody, but you guys can share that one. I dropped the page off. I know many of you guys don't know me. My name's Thomas Morgan. I'm an investor. I'm also the campground owner in Whiteside, the former Lee Rock property. We now operate as Running Water Creek Campground. So why am I here? Every day, 10 to 30 times a day, a train goes by and blows its horn. It's 100 to 130 decibels. According to CSX, train horns are supposed to be between 95 and 115. They're a lot louder than that. Also, according to CSX, a train horn is no louder than a lawnmower. I've never seen a lawnmower shake an entire house. Or their noise travels 6 to 8 miles. As a citizen of Marion County, I'm planning on building a house on that property and moving out there. So we're continuing to invest in create jobs over there and run some Airbnbs and camping and bring tourism to Marion County. We're asking for the county to look into establishing a quiet zone over there. Some of the documentation I gave you guys, it's the first section of documents is how to establish a quiet zone and what it'll take. But it needs to be done on the county's part. The county must apply for it, or municipality. Reasons why we're looking for a quiet zone. Not only the property value aspect, it's public safety and health aspects of it. The second document I gave you is from the FRA, Federal Railroad Administration, for the health effects on train noise. And a lot of that document is based over 65 decibels, not 115 to plus decibels. CSX last year made $4.6 billion profit. But according to their document, or for this quiet zone, it says we as a municipality have to pay for it. Hey, that's not right. No other business in the country, the public has to pay for their public safety aspects. It just doesn't make sense. Some of the health effects from train noise in that documentation: sleep deprivation, depression, anxiety, heart issues, hallucinations, mental health disorders, pathological disorders, neurological disorders. Interesting fact, CIA uses sleep deprivation as a tool to negotiate with people. Yet we make our citizens suffer from that every day. Like train going by at 115, 120 decibels, blowing their horn for 20 seconds at a minimum. Never mind, we have 3 back-to-back crossings within a quarter mile right through there. So they're blowing their horns for a solid minute every time they come through. it's kind of gotten outrageous. Some people there just have learned to live with it. Some people just obviously suffer from a lot of the symptoms that I put out and published to you guys just now. Interesting fact is, I see this man's wearing a Navy hat. The Navy created a weapon, a long-range acoustic device. A long-range acoustic device sends a noise at 130, 150 decibels up to 3.1 miles. Do you know how far you can hear a train horn, according to the FAA, or FRA? 6 to 8 miles in the country. So it's obviously louder than the Navy's weapons. Residents feeling noise effects by passing trains, according to the National Institute of Health, can cause irritability, headaches, poor concentrations, insomnia. How does that play out to your children? What about the kids in Whiteside that aren't getting a good night's sleep? They're getting these health effects, and then they have to go to school with your kids. Are they being distracted in the classrooms? What about the people's jobs? Do you think they're going to be a productive citizen if they're suffering from mental health orders and public health issues? And I just sat here and listened to you guys talk about funding for mental health transport. But let's focus on the root of the problem. What's causing that?
So, Mr. Morgan, your request for us is that you want the county commission to enter into a quiet zone rule?
Yes, start the paperwork with the FRA to get a quiet zone.
Okay.
It's a little bit of a process.
Would a quiet zone trump state law, state statutes concerning the requirement of engineers to blow at crossings?
Only in emergencies.
If it's an
Sorry,
unmanned
please.
road crossing that doesn't have gates, they have to, by law, blow their whistles.
Yes. Correct. That's part of the quiet zone process, is putting up crossing arms with lights and signals so they don't have to blow their horn every time they pass.
Let me say this, sir, and this, I mean this with no disrespect. I know a lot of folks over there. My wife and grandkids all grew up over there, ex-wife, and got a lot of friends and family over there. They'd sleep right there. Was the train track there when you bought the property?
It is.
Did you hear the train whistle when you bought the property?
It is.
Okay.
But Mr. Harkins, if we have a public health problem, obviously that document, the second document in that sack of papers is from the Federal Railroad Administration. That notifies and documents the public health problems. We have CSX that creates 0 jobs in Marion County.
Pardon?
CSX doesn't create any jobs in Marion County.
Oh, don't get us wrong, we're not friends with CSX. You know, CSX is an animal of their own, believe me. So.
Commute to another place, like Chattanooga, to have those jobs. But they're not in Marion County. So, let's get the big excuse elephant out of the room. How are we funding this? There's a federal grants, the FRA has grants, CSX gives grants. There's also funding for this through the Federal Register's office. I know, Mr. Jackson, I sent you some funding results that had to be applied by December 1st to actually get funding for this on a federal level, and not on the county residents' responsibility.
20% match required of a county or municipality that enters into one of those contracts on
It
those
can also
grants.
be funded by a grant from CSX for those.
At $200,000 per crossing? Is that what I'm reading there?
That's one of the, for a major cities crossing. It's 6 to up to that for a major intersection.
But these are rural crossings.
They are. They're also public, some of them are rural crossings, some of them are private crossings. I believe there's 7 crossings in Marion County completely, from Whiteside to the route to Bridgeport, on the south side of Nichols Ave.
That's a shared track also with Norfolk Southern, am I correct?
At least to Norfolk Southern on occasion, so they can run tracks, or run trains through.
Anything running west with Norfolk Southern runs that route, so it's pretty much equal.
The tracks are owned by CSX, but they lease track space to Norfolk Southern. It's slightly, if we had ExxonMobil in here, and they were causing oil leaks and causing public health crisis, we would hold them accountable. Why is it any different from CSX? Why is it on the citizens to have to pay for their public safety infrastructure?
Well, in my opinion, somebody's got to come up with a 20% on the matching grant. I don't think that the citizens of this county should be burdened with 20% of the grant because of a train horn in Whiteside that's disturbing the local people there. Because the debt burden falls on all the people of Marion County.
The debt burden of the Medicaid costs, the public health infrastructure costs, the public health mental transport costs falls on the burden of the citizens also, sir.
You've done a great job of presenting this information. Can I ask that you come back to the commission with data showing the actual mental health effects or physical effects?
Second report on there is a full report
from this county that has occurred?
From this county?
From that area.
Okay.
In other words, can you go through Whiteside and tell me how many people's had mental issues from this? How many people has had health issues from this? Can you give us that data?
Can you give me a list of psychologists in Marion County?
I cannot.
Then I probably can't find that for you either, sir. I think that's a very abundant request, but these are national data statistics of the health consequences. There's also statistics from the World Health Organization on how this affects.
If I could ask a question, would it be fair to say that this has a negative impact on your business?
It has a negative impact on my business and has a negative impact on everyone in Whiteside. It also has a negative impact on the tax value that this county brings in. There was a study done in Memphis that train noise over 65 decibels can cause a property value decrease of up to 18%. How does that play out when Thunder Thornton builds across Etna? Or Black Creek finished building across Etna? Wouldn't this county like 18% more property tax value?
Counselor, do we have any authority as a county to overstep into this area? And
well, you have the authority to go through the process to apply to make it a quiet zone and for crossing arms and lights and that sort of thing, but you have to be prepared to address the cost of that.
Absolutely.
And grants are one possibility. Even with grants, there's a matching component, whether you fund that out of your general fund or whether you try to get other grants, as Mr. Morgan alluded to, through CSX or some other private entity to assist with the local match. Then you still have the ongoing cost of maintaining, because once it's installed, that maintenance responsibility typically falls to the road owner, which in this case would be the county. So you have to be prepared to address that going forward too.
do the crossings negate any liability that the county would have for not making adequate notice? Or, my concern would be children or cars passing through not getting adequate notice. And
wouldn't change that part of it.
County still subject to those liabilities without the crossings.
I have a question
Yes.
for Counselor. Okay, he's talking about the quiet zone, but there would be pushback, I would think, from the railroad companies because they own those railroads.
Correct.
And, their attorneys would push back as far as, what their liabilities are, if they hit somebody and they didn't adequately notify somebody that the train was actually approaching that intersection. So we're not only looking at the cost of, each railroad crossing, there's attorneys' fees and things like that are going to be involved.
Well, there will be attorney's fees, to be candid about it, are probably gonna be on the lower side of the total cost that would be associated with the project. And as Mr. Morgan alluded to, I grew up there, so I'm familiar with, I grew up.
Did you lose any sleep?
Not that I recall, but.
Okay.
But as one of the commissioners or the mayor alluded to, you know, if you live there long enough, you get used to it.
That's right.
But,
I've been there.
but I understand.
I didn't lose any sleep either.
Yeah. So I think if you're gonna look at this, you have to look at all three of those crossings that Mr. Morgan is alluding to. Because if you have an issue with one, then, you know, arguably you have an issue with all three.
Well, but where's it gonna end? We got a new hope and other
Well, that's a
places.
state highway. That's the difference. The Morris Crossing is a state highway.
Well, I mean,
So you don't have any jurisdiction or authority there. But I suspect that you would get pushback from CSX. And I haven't read all of what.
And Colonial Chemical, I would think.
Well, again, that's gonna be a state highway there where they are.
Well, where are they gonna go? I mean, you know, where are they gonna go if they can't go through?
Just for context, I do believe Gouger Road, where you grew up on, is a private crossing. Correct.
Well, no, that's a county road.
Is it?
Yeah, it's a county road past
I
the
know there's
railroad.
one private crossing over that way where they don't have to blow it because it's a private road.
No, that's a county road. The water tank road, which is the one just below the one at Pull Tight, that's also a county road to a certain point. Mr. Morrison may correct me on that, but I think I'm right about that because there are a couple of houses on the mountainside of the tracks there. So I think all of those over there are county road crossings. Right,
Mr. Shaver.
There's three types of signals that you have for railroad crossing. The one is they blow the horn and they have to blow it so many
20 seconds.
feet before they reach the intersection. The other one is flashing lights with cross arms saying it's a railroad crossing. The third would be with the gates coming down. So there's different options if we have to go that route. You know, putting in a quiet zone, if you deny the railroad from blowing their whistle and a child gets hit, whose responsibility is it gonna be? We as county commissioners, since we authorized that quiet zone, would be liable for it also. We have to look at the big picture on this and how to approach it. You just can't say one thing to be it all encompassing.
Currently in the United States, there's over 800 plus quiet zones in county. So you're telling me 800 plus county commissioners are liable for this?
Could be.
Well, it
I
also,
think that's a bit extreme.
it also says that in here that it's up to the railroad's discretion whether or not they still blow their horn. If they believe the necessity arises, whether it be fog, other safety issues, they can still blow their horn.
Yeah, even with the
Even
flashing
with the
lights
safety zone.
only,
They
if
still
cross
have
arms, they
that
can
right.
still blow the horn.
That's fine.
And the way it is over there, especially just using fog for an example, as foggy as that river is constantly, they would have to blow their horn just as much now as they would without it. Just due to the safety reasons, is what they would say because of it.
So, Mr. Morgan, tonight is informational purpose with what you've given us. I would suggest that you allow us to read through this, look through this, to get some factual data. 800 stops across the U.S., we're worried about what's happening here in Marion County. So what I would like to suggest to you is allow us to read through this and feel free to come back and be on our next meeting or whenever you'd like to, so that we have time to educate ourselves and ask the questions that we need to make sure we have the information that's needed.
Okay. I have no problem with that. I mean, one other way you can fund it is literally taxing the railroads. There's a diesel tax on them already by the state of Tennessee. There's no law stopping you from taxing them to pay for this.
Well, like I said, I don't think we have the information that all of us can look through and decide tonight on one way or the other what we need to do. I think there's a lot of information that's spinning around here, and we don't want to make the wrong decision on whatever that might be. So if you allow us to do that, so that we can take this good information that you given us, so that we can go through this and then also talk with our attorney Gallagher here to make sure what liabilities that could come about or couldn't come about, so. All right. Thank you, sir, for being here. All right, next agenda item is discussion for the purchase of county maintenance vehicle.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Finance Committee met last Monday to go over this. The vehicle we had for maintenance blew up. Mouse Motor has a truck with a utility bed that would be a good fit for a maintenance department. They're asking $37,750 for the truck. The truck itself is valued at $32,236 on a Kelly Blue Book price. The utility bed is valued at $12,986 with a ladder rack. So we're below, to buy a vehicle outright like this, we have to be below the value. So we're below that to meet the comptroller's requirements. So we're below that, and the Finance Committee approved to fund this if the County Commission approved to make the purchase.
So basically, the maintenance department's without a vehicle.
That's correct.
The old van just did its best for all the years we had it, so.
So we got one maintenance man driving his personal vehicle right now, right?
Yeah.
Make a motion to go ahead with the purchase of this maintenance vehicle.
There's a motion, is there a second?
I'll second.
All in favor of saying aye? Aye. Any opposed, like sign? Okay, thank you. Next agenda item, number 12, is discussion bids for courthouse cleaning contract. Mayor Jackson.
Yes, sir. It's actually courthouse annex in the Barker building. We have a bid. We actually had a required meeting for November the 10th for anybody who's interested in doing the job. We only had one contractor that showed up, and that was Valley Janitorial. Their bid had to be turned in the bids had to be turned in by the 17th, which was turned in. Was the only bid we received. That bid is $4,331 a month to clean those 3 buildings. And I'm gonna defer to Attorney Gallagher. The reason we're asking for this, using some legal ramifications.
What the mayor's referring to right now, you have a county employee that works under the county mayor's office, that has been providing this janitorial service for the last several years. But that person is absent from their position for reasons that we can't disclose for privacy purposes. But she has not been there now for a couple of weeks, and notified the mayor's office this morning that she will not be coming back until at the earliest sometime in January. So there is no person filling that role now. So the service is either having to be contracted out on a temporary emergency basis, or having to find another employee to.
Which that's what we were doing this time.
Which you don't have. You don't have another employee to do it. So I think what the mayor would be requesting, if the commission approves the janitorial bid, would be eliminating the employment position that's currently providing that service.
Mr. Mayor, do you have the salary of the person that was laid off?
It's about, this bid is about $3,000 this year. It's about $54,000 benefits and all.
The person that was
Yes,
doing it?
that's correct.
This is 51,972 roughly? Okay.
I've got one thing too. Says here, this shall include all services described in the written specification attached.
I didn't print the whole contract out. I just printed out the.
I like to see what's attached, so we don't have a misunderstanding if we make this contract of what they're supposed to clean and when they're supposed to clean.
Yeah, they clean every day.
I know, I understand that, but I want something in writing so we
Yeah.
understand and they understand what we're.
Yeah, we have that in writing. We have the contract. I just printed off the.
Okay, so you got the
Yes.
attachment to this?
Yes.
Okay, yeah, that's fine.
Yes. I just didn't print that whole
Well,
7, 8
yeah,
pages out.
I saw that
Yeah.
one page, that's.
Yeah, there's only no attached to it.
Saving paper.
Any other questions?
Mr. Chairman, if I didn't address the concerns of someone that I represent, I wouldn't be doing my job here, and this is nothing toward this company at all. but I did receive more than one phone call that the previous services provided by this company, if it's correct, and Mr. Mayor, you can tell me, have not been adequate and up to par and satisfactory in the past. And so I had a couple of phone calls on that. So if someone could offer some clarification on that, I'd appreciate it, but I have to address that because it was brought to my attention.
They're currently under contract to do the Justice Center, have been for the last.
That's where that could come from, was, I think, the Justice Center. So, anybody, you're familiar, Mr. Mayor, you tell me.
The complaints that we've had has been from, the state people that leased some office space. And we've addressed that, and I think it's more personally the conflict is anything else.
And it's corrected. Okay. So you're good.
Well, I think anymore, it's hard to get anybody to work for $25 an hour, much less a lesser paying job. I know at the Justice Center, anytime we contact the directs, it's been corrected. Sometimes it does get a little sloppy, the lady does, but if you contact the manager, then it's usually corrected. I will say that, because there's employees that work over there that gripe constantly. Of course, if they had to sleep on a gold bed, they'd gripe too. But with that being said, management's always taking care of any complaints at the Justice Center that I'm aware of.
Do we supply the supplies for them, or do they supply? We supply. So we still gotta buy all the cleanings.
Any other questions? Discussion? So Mayor Jackson, your recommendation is that, due to the fact that we don't have, the employee cleaning at the present time, don't have any backup for that unless we.
We're actually using Van Gogh right now as a backup to get that.
And with that being said, you're saying it's the actual savings to the county?
About $3,000 a year.
Did that. Okay. Any other questions?
What is so the cleaning supplies and whatnot, what do we spend on that? I mean,
We were supplying those anyway.
Yeah, we're supplying those anyway.
Yeah.
I just think it's, was this advertised?
Sure was. We're in the paper like it's supposed to be.
It's just a lot. It's my opinion, for what it's worth.
A lot for cleaning.
It's just, to me, I mean,
That's three buildings.
especially
That's
since, you know.
That's three buildings though, not just one. That's three.
Right, I get that, but, I mean, it's never really looked clean to me. I mean, really, go over there and look at it. All you gotta do is look at it. Go to the elevator, it's nasty. And if they're cleaning it every day, it should be clean.
Well, these people just now filling in.
Well,
They've
I
not
mean,
been cleaned, so.
but they've been doing the Justice Center. I'm talking about the Justice Center. It's
We can all leave
nasty.
here and go over there and check it out.
Well, I can go take pictures for you, it's nasty.
About that time anyway.
That's my opinion. For what it's
Any
worth.
other
It's cleaned every day, it should be clean.
This is a year contract. So if they don't do their job, we can either.
In a year. In a year, you can live in a nasty building.
Actually, I think if they don't meet their.
No, it's actually, it has about a 30-day out, I think, so I'm sorry. Yeah.
I'll be quiet now.
Any other questions? Comments, recommendations?
Oh, we gotta have somebody to clean it, right? Or, so if we don't, vote on it tonight, they're gonna continue to clean it till you find another solution. So,
And it's your lowest bid, correct?
That's all it is.
only bid they got.
How many hours can they work?
It's not based on ours, I think they've got items that they do.
Any recommendations, any motions?
Make a motion to do something.
I say we look for other, I mean, maybe we need to advertise in a different paper. You know? I mean, if you can't find somebody to do a satisfactory job in Marion County, maybe you need to find, I mean, put it on Facebook. Everybody looks at Facebook.
Can't do that,
I mean, you can advertise in the paper and, you know, I mean, somebody needs to do something, but if that's your only option, that don't make it the best option.
When you put it in the newspaper, it goes statewide pursuant to Tennessee Press,
Okay.
just so you're aware.
Thank you very much for that.
Signed it relevant.
So, how many buildings does Ms. Prigmore clean? Does she only clean juvenile court? Here in juvenile?
Well, can she do it?
She's just part-time, she
Oh.
does other clean, other
She's
jobs.
just one person.
God love her. I just don't think that it's worth the money. I think we need to look further. Maybe, start asking some folks that might be interested. Maybe put an ad in the paper for somebody to employ to do it even.
Now, this is the quietest all of you've been in a while.
I know, I'm like, God, somebody say something.
Nobody want to fight with Linda?
I make a motion, we run the paper and maybe go to Chattanooga paper for the next month.
We already read the paper,
I mean, I think we just got clarification that goes statewide.
go statewide.
If we only had one bid, this is the lowest bid. My concern is if the building hasn't been cleaned adequately, then we should have heard from the sheriff, or we should be notified.
I mean, I can tell you, I've seen it. It's nasty. I mean, we can call Bo if you want to, but,
Well, we should hear that from the sheriff if that was
I
a
mean,
concern.
it's nasty.
So let me follow through here. Commissioner Rollins made a motion. Is there a second?
I second it.
To run it in the paper again?
Well,
Yes.
Hold on a minute. So included in, I'm not implying anything, you're referring anything into your motion, but I suppose by that motion, it is a rejection of the bid that's been received.
Yep.
So is that in your motion to reject the bid and?
Reject the bid and.
Let's rewind. So, from Commissioner Rollins' motion, his motion is to reject the bid that's been.
Yeah, I retract what I did and I say make a motion.
Well, it can be all in one, it's okay, but you reject the bid,
Yeah, reject the bid.
number one. So, there's a motion made by Commissioner Rollins to reject the bid in hand. Is there a second?
I have a second.
And a second. All in favor by saying aye to reject the bid.
Aye.
Roll call.
Roll call all the time. All right, let's clarify. To reject the bid is a yes. To not, to
So accept.
not reject the bid is no. You'll have to excuse me, so. All right, Madam Clerk, roll call.
Commissioner Abbott?
No.
Commissioner Atkins?
No.
Commissioner Blansett?
No.
Commissioner Blevins? He's not here. Commissioner Brandt?
Yes.
Commissioner Logan?
Yes.
Commissioner Cottrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Franklin?
Yes.
Commissioner Hargis?
No.
Commissioner Mason?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrison?
Morrison, where you at?
I'm contemplating. I abstain. I don't have enough.
Commissioner Nunley?
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
No.
Commissioner Thompson.
I don't want to clean the courthouse, so I'm voting no.
All right, all in favor? 6 and 7 no's.
So what's the roll call, Madam Clerk?
6 yes, 7 no,
6 yes, 7 no.
2 no votes.
So we have 7 no votes. Is that correct? Re-add those again if you
Counted
don't
7
mind.
yeses and 6 noes. And one abstain.
7.
So
7
7.
no's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 yes.
Simple majority.
I'll make a motion to table it.
So,
Figure out what's
so
right.
Mayor Jackson, we can continue on.
Well, wait a minute.
Okay, go ahead.
You gotta have 8 votes.
Yeah.
You don't have 8 votes.
You gotta have 8 votes and 2 didn't vote. We have a no vote.
Yeah, we don't have 8 votes, but what to call this is a conundrum. We can't make a decision here because we don't
Make
have
a
8
motion
votes.
to table.
That
I
actually
second
failed.
that.
So, yeah, you didn't move into
Get
a
some more
motion to table.
information.
That's what I was going to do. Yeah. So since the last motion vote failed, the next motion is Commissioner Blanchett said to table this for more discussion.
And who seconded
There's a
it?
second. All in favor by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign.
So will
Mayor,
there
has
be,
anybody
will there-
ever complained about this to you personally? I'm sorry, Commissioner. Has anybody ever complained? We've had some complaints and we've addressed it with, the owners, of the company, so. And Commissioner Harder said they've always addressed it, we've had issues.
Move on, Mr. Chairman.
Yes, sir. So, moving on, agenda item number 13, discussion of Trestle Road. Mayor Jackson.
Is Mr. Parks here?
Mr. Park, you here? Terry Park?
Mr. Park, are you here?
Apparently not.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, if you would, I've spoken with Mr. Park and Commissioner Blevins has spoken with him also. I rode out and looked at Eagles Bluff development, which is at the end of Trestle Road. You get to a point on Eagles Bluff Road, I believe is the name of it, where beyond that, it's a gated community. Beyond that, they're in the process now of building about 5 or 6 homes in there. There's probably a total of 12 homes. There's some just prior to, between the gate and Trestle Road, there are several homes in there, including Mr. Terry Park and his brother, I believe, has a house in there also. A couple other folks. There has been discussion for years and years whether this is or is not a county road up to the gate. At one point it was county maintained. I think Mr. Park probably had been in contact with Mr. Hawk and probably at some point in time had an agreement with Mr. Graham. That's what I know about it. I will say that development, that gated community is now beginning to take off. They are building out there and the road is, there are worse roads in the county, but it does need some attention if it is on the county road list. And that's where we get in the problem, I think, because I don't think it was ever actually added to the county road list, even though the county maintained it, and Billy may know more than I do on that, or remember more than I do.
Well, I do have something to add to that, and Mr. Parks did send an email to me, and I had done a little additional research through the clerk's office, looking for minutes and road lists and so forth. Couldn't find any formal acceptance, as you alluded to, but there is a recorded deed of dedication to the county.
Yes.
That was signed off on by all the landowners on that section of Trestle Road. Problem is, when you do a deed of dedication, and you all that have been on here for a number of years will be familiar with this, there is an acceptance component to the deed of dedication where the county mayor signs off on the deed of dedication to acknowledge acceptance of it by the county, and that's done after you all have agreed as a body to take it onto the county road list. And that's missing from that deed. It was prepared by an attorney in Franklin County. I don't know that it was intentional, but that's not on there. So the normal method of verifying that it's been accepted by the county, whether through a signature on the deed itself or through minutes and records in the clerk's office, is just simply not there. So Mr. Parks raises a good question. You know, we deeded this property to the county by deed of dedication a number of years ago, so why is the county not maintaining it? That's why. That section of it is not on the county road list currently. So I think Mr. Hawk's response was, since it's not on the county road list, I can't legally work on it, which is true. So that's where it stands right now. There is a deed of dedication, but it is somewhat incomplete, and we don't have other records that we normally would have, whether on the county road list itself or minutes of this body that reflects it was ever approved.
So your opinion is it's not on the road list?
But it's not on the road list.
Okay.
We have everything in place for it to be placed on the road list.
I understand that, but it's not on the county road list.
Yes, sir, you're correct.
Officially.
And to be honest, a little bit of tar and chip and a little bit of coal mix would fix the road and make it.
It's not on the county road list.
Upon the new highway department's head of.
We got enough roads that are on the road list that have not been paid or have not been upgraded.
These folks that are building, those folks that are building them.
We need to fix the ones on the road list.
I agree, 100%. I can pull several of them out, but these folks that are building these homes up there and these folks that live on this road, due to an oversight that it was never added to the road list when it was supposed to have been, you know, whose ever fault that was. So I think they deserve a little bit of benefit of the doubt. I think we should work toward getting them put on the county road list.
So the procedure would be to see the new road commissioner, appointed road commissioner.
Yes.
To look at the road, see if it's up to county specs.
Yes.
And then the road commissioner would then approach us to be approval for it to be on the road list.
Correct.
So,
People who are building up there knew what the road condition was before they purchased the property.
So with the process there, we can move on, and if the road commissioner brings that to us, then we can move forward from there. Okay?
It's not a terrible road. Again, I mean, it's not going to knock the front end out from under your vehicle, but it does need a little cold mix here and there. I mean, it's not terrible, but I think the concern was that it was not ever added to the county road list when all the paperwork was done, and it was supposed to have been done many years ago. Because that is a part of this development, as it's developing. It's not a large development. You're talking from the gate to the cul-de-sac is probably 2 miles, mile and a half. So you're not talking about a huge top of the mountain development. It's a smaller development, but there are several houses being built now up there.
So any other discussion? All right. Good, Mr. Carter.
Oh, yeah, I'm fine with it. I would like to bring this back. If I get in contact with Mr. Park, I would like to maybe bring up under general business next month if he is here and has some facts that I'm not aware of. I thought he was aware of the meeting tonight, but something may have come up where he couldn't be here. But again, I spoke with him by phone, and so did Commissioner Blevins. So we'll get our P's and Q's in line next time, I guess.
Okay. Moving on to the agenda item number 14, updated discussion tech innovation committee. Commissioner Brandt.
Yeah, Chairman, I've got the framework of a charter started, and I'm working with Councilor Gallagher, as well as we have a meeting tomorrow with Judge Raines, and I'm also working with Dr. Griffith as well, because I'll let him speak on this. I think he went to a meeting for superintendents, and apparently there's some other counties that are rather excited about what we're doing. So as far as the charter is concerned, I just want to make sure it's 100% right, because so many other people are going to be looking at it.
So with Billy's help, or excuse me, Counselor Gallagher, I apologize. We'll make sure it's a great document before it's presented to the commission for them to look at.
Thank you for leading the charge on that. Agenda item number 15, discussion, law of 1981.
That would be me.
Yeah.
I just wanted, to put this to a vote and put it behind us. That's, you know, I just wanted to vote on it. I wanted it said and done, and I guess maybe we can't vote on it.
You can vote on it. I just think it's premature to not sit down with the school board as the comptroller's office suggested to us. We've got a new county road superintendent to be appointed in January, whoever that might be. I just think it need to be enough time to talk to them before vote down. That's my opinion. I mean, I'm in favor of it. I think we need to go to it, but I think there needs to be a little more work.
I was going to ask on that we at least table it because we're missing a commissioner, and we've got a new commissioner that needs to be brought up more on this for his vote, because this is a serious matter, and
it absolutely is.
I think we need to. Can we make it where that everyone has to be present for us to vote on this? Is that legal or not?
You can't make everybody come.
No, I'm just trying to.
We can ask, but no, we can't require.
Okay, I didn't know.
Mr. Schaefer.
First of all, Mayor, why did you present it to us? Because in the research that I have done,
Close that door, please.
we're going to have to provide space for a new committee, a new office, which is going to cost us money. We got the startup costs, which is going to cost us extremely a lot of money. The only cost savings that I can see is for the state, because instead of doing 3 audits, they only have to do 1 audit, and the burden is on us.
Well, we still have to pay the set fee for a state audit. That's not gonna change. It's $11,000–12,000. They'll streamline things more financially for all 3 departments. And plus, this is one of the things we keep getting from our comptroller's office, is they like to see us go to law if they want. You know, they highly recommend we do it. And I think it'd be better for the county in the long run. Yeah, the cost up front's gonna be more, Commissioner Shepard, you're exactly right. The savings will be in the long run. That's where that comes in.
I'd like to, I mean, if we vote on it tonight, this is null and void, what I'm gonna say, but if we do not end up voting on this tonight, I'd encourage all the commissioners to do a simple Google search on counties in Tennessee that are under law of 81, and reach out to some of the commission chairmen and some of the county mayors of these counties. We heard during a workshop the first time we discussed this, we heard from Sheriff Fuller over Franklin County. He loved it. This, that, and the other. I've talked to some folks over in Ray County that feel kind of the other way. So, I mean, I think we need to get a good feel for other counties that have this.
So that Franklin, if I'm thinking, isn't it a relative or some? She used to work for him that actually, and he pretty much gets whatever he wants. Am I right?
That's sheriff and business there. I'm a commissioner right there.
I've also Googled it and found out Sumner County enacted it. After they had enacted it, they wished they didn't and tried to rescind it and had a hell of a time trying to do it.
Yeah, and I mean, the only county that you hear problems out of is Ray County. If you talk to CTAS or folks, they're going to tell you go to Ray County, you're going to hear the negative side of it. McMahon County does it, Franklin County, there's several, County. Actually, I think it's County where the citizens voted to do it.
The larger counties, it's more profitable for them to do it.
Well, the larger counties don't have to go on the state audit.
I know.
Before large ones, they do their own thing.
Commissioner Franklin, if I understood you correctly, you made a motion to table this, is that correct?
Yes, Joe.
Because Commissioner Mason, you didn't ask for a motion, did you? You just wanted to discuss it, okay? So
Well, no, I wanted to vote on it.
Okay.
But, I mean, if he feels that, I mean, I know how I feel, but
I think we need to go ahead and vote on it.
let's do it.
It's like the time we continue.
I mean, we can beat a dead horse today.
So, let's come out here just a second. So,
We got a second there.
Commissioner Franklin, you had a motion to table this. That's the first motion on the table on the floor now.
I'll withdraw that.
You withdraw that, okay? All right, so we're clear now, that the floor is clear again, so.
I make a motion, we vote on it.
Well, are you making a motion?
To vote on the law of 81.
Okay.
To approve or disapprove of it.
I'll second it.
Okay, so you got a motion and a second to vote on approving or disapproving law of 81.
Just to clarify, yes is approved, no is.
Yeah, it needs to be a motion to approve or to adopt. And then they can either vote for or against. It needs to be a yes or no. Not a.
Yes is for it, no is against it, right?
If the motion is to adopt it, then yes. I mean, the motion, I'm not trying to make a motion for you, but it either needs to be a motion to adopt or to reject.
Right. Then I make a motion to reject.
Okay.
Well, and I'd like to point out too that Commissioner Cantrell is new. I don't know how he feels about it, about not having.
I've done a little research on it.
Okay. Just out of fairness to you, because I know this is a big decision, so.
Okay. So Commissioner Campbell made the
Motion to reject.
motion to reject law of 81.
I'll second.
There's a second, okay? All right, so
If we vote yes, we are rejecting it.
that's correct.
Correct.
Commissioner Franklin.
I'd like to do a roll call vote.
Okay, so yes means you're rejecting law of 81. No means that you're not rejecting it, basically, so.
Ready? Commissioner Abbott?
Yes.
Commissioner Atkins?
Yes.
Commissioner Blansett?
Yes.
Commissioner Brand?
Yes.
Commissioner Logan?
Yes.
Commissioner Cantrell?
Yes.
Commissioner Franklin?
Yes.
Commissioner Hargis?
Yes.
Commissioner Mason?
Yes.
Commissioner Morrison?
Yes.
Commissioner Nunley?
Yes.
Commissioner Rollins?
Yes.
Commissioner Schaefer?
Yes.
Commissioner Thompson?
Yes.
Imagine that. Miracles do happen.
All right, moving on. Agenda item number 17, we've already gone over 16. Budget amendments, Marion County local government. Mayor Jackson.
Mr. Chairman, the only one I have is a decrease in fund balance of $37,750. Moving it into the maintenance budget for $37,750 to purchase the truck that y'all approved. That's the only thing I have.
Recommendation is motion?
So motion.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Agenda item number 18, budget amendments, Marion County Board of Education. Dr. Mark Griffith, give us some good news.
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman. I'll need to borrow Mr. Nunley's.
There you go.
There, I just need whatever I've got to do it for y'all.
There you go, Mark.
You
You got a couple.
I'm out of kilter there. We had a meeting
Run out of
before
copy
y'all.
paper at the school?
Huh?
Run out of copy paper?
I cut back.
Went back to slates?
Good news is, if you've not seen the site for where we had the groundbreaking, got a lot of good things going on here. Randy Gillum's on top of things, our project manager's doing well there. We're in constant contact, working on Saturdays, weather permitting. And, everything's looking good there, and hopefully, like I said, we'll stay on schedule.
What about that pedestrian bridge down at Southeast Park? You got anything done on it? That's okay.
Mr. Blanton,
I already know.
We're working on it. Let me say that, we are working on it. So now, a lot of good things going on, and we're very appreciative of you all.
So Dr. Griffith, when did your next expected draw for the project? The reason I'm asking that, I want to make sure we're in compliance within the year that we have to draw down part of those funds. So we're getting close.
We are actually having a December meeting. We usually don't have a December meeting, but I've asked the board to have one. to go ahead and get our payouts out, so it will be this month. Yes, or December.
So there will be a request for drawdown
Yes,
for
sir.
the project?
Yes, sir.
So let's make sure what that number is, so we can make sure we follow the parameters that are given to us by what we need to draw down the first year.
That's correct. Yes, sir. If I can get the numbers with where we're at, or where we need to be, then I'm certain that we can.
Okay, yeah, thank you.
Yeah. And I don't know if you all are looking at, basically, we have a literacy implementation network for $83,000. That is actually a grant that we were, should be Federal Project 142, Amendment number 4.
Yep. Okay.
That is actually a grant that was given by the state for literacy implementation. Yes, that, I would actually respectfully request approval of that.
Motion approved.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Thank you. Next one.
I'm looking at Fund General Purpose 141, amendment number 4, capital outlay for paving of Marion County High School and Whittle High School. Actually, that's no increase to the county maintenance effort. That is actually utilizing those funds from our budget.
Entertain a motion?
So motion.
Motion made, is there a second?
Second.
Second, all in favor by saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Okay.
I
Next.
think the next one is probably just a cash flow analysis. That's just for information.
Okay. Any questions for Dr. Griffith?
Dr. Griffith, would you mind what you and I spoke about it with your meeting?
Yes, the innovation network that we've talked about, we were actually at a Tennessee School Board Association meeting. I was in conversation around the table with other school boards in the state, other superintendents sitting there. They're very excited about what you all are putting together, and hopefully they will be mimicking that in the future. So I certainly appreciate every one of you all for leading the charge on that. So a lot of excited business.
Well, we'll have to give credit where credit's due to Mr. Brandt.
No, it's us.
I would give credit, they don't like to take credit, so but yes, thank you all very much for doing that. I think it's going to give an opportunity for our kids to be able to be a part of this process, and also to look at where they can be in the future technology-wise, and, you know, moving ahead.
Or we might be able to offer them a job.
Absolutely, yes, yes.
Any other questions for Dr. Griffith?
Comment. I'm glad that I guided him through all this.
Everybody has to have somebody. Anything else for Dr. Griffith? Dr. Griffith, thank you.
Thank you all very much.
Thanks, sir.
Agenda item number 19, budget amendments, Marion County Highway Department. Mr. Morrison, you have it? Okay, no amendments there. Mayor Jackson, Mayor's report.
Thanks, sir. We've had several RFIs from the state this month. Project Twin, they were looking for a 300,000 square foot building, 100 jobs, $100 million investment. Project Beam, looking for a 450,000 square foot building, 1,700 jobs, $1.2 billion investment. Nice to have that.
That's almost as much as the last winter, wasn't it?
Yeah, but we just don't have a building for them. Project Matador, and you have a copy of Project Matador RFI in your package, just so you have an idea of what an RFI looks like for the state. I put one in your packet tonight. They're looking for 75 acres, 75 to 800 jobs, $300 million investment. We have sent a packet back on the port property. Project Navara, or Havana, however you want to pronounce it, 82 acres, 500 jobs, $200 million investment. And they will be here Thursday for a site visit. So, that's a short window when you get something this November and they contact you a couple of weeks later. So
What side of the?
Port property.
Port property.
Port property. So we'll be meeting with those folks Thursday. We did receive a letter from Governor Lee's office last Tuesday afternoon. Our CDBG grant that we applied for rural fire departments, we have been awarded that $420,000 grant. Our match is $87,800, which is 20%. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to appoint 5 of the rural fire chiefs to get together, to talk amongst each other, and then come back and report to the Emergency Service Committee about how they like to try, what they want to buy. So we'll make that, get 5 of our fire chiefs and then get them to report back to the Emergency Services Committee. Last Monday, we had our bond rating call with S&P for the sale of $9 million bonds for additional money for Jasper Middle School. We are scheduled to do the sale of the bonds on December the 5th. So that'll go pretty quick. It takes about 5 minutes for whoever wants to bid on that. Also attended a meeting a couple weeks ago. It was hosted by State Senator Bo Watson, Todd Gardenhire, and State Representative Greg Vital to discuss Tennessee flood ready. We had some good discussion. We pointed out several points to them about us over here in Nevada. Some of the things that they could help us with as far as flooding. They may not invite me back, but anyway, they know where we stand and whatever we need to flood. And sometimes their assistance is not as good as it could be. Also attended a regional mayor's meeting in Chattanooga, hosted by Chattanooga Mayor Kelly and Hamilton County Mayor Wong. Actually, the main discussion by everybody over there was infrastructure, I-24 and I-75. North Georgia folks are there, Chattanooga folks are there. They're expecting another 20,000 jobs in the next 15 years in Hamilton County. They're talking about needing employees from outside of Hamilton County. How are they going to get there?
They're not going to get there.
They're not going to get there. Anyway, that was one of the main discussions. Also, attended a county mayor's meeting in Crossville. So I'm going to tell you, it's mayors from the Georgia state line to the Kentucky state line. Clay County, Fitchers County, those counties, we all come met in Crossville. Really the biggest discussion of that group is a lot of those counties still on their ambulance service. And the problem they're having finding EMTs and paramedics. Devastating. I mean, they hire one today and tomorrow they're somewhere else working or they just quit, get out of the business. So, and also having trouble buying equipment. Keep finding equipment, new trucks, 2 to 3 years out. So just, they have a lot of issues. Veterans Day, I was asked to speak at the American Legion in South Pittsburgh, and they asked us to recognize and do a proclamation for 3 veterans, and I want to just announce those veterans that we recognized and done a proclamation for. Those were for Jimmy Wigfall, Jerry Case, and Ken Jordan. All 3 good men. Unfortunately, 2 of them no longer with us. Mr. Case just passed away a couple months ago. He was, 101, I believe, something in that neighborhood. He was over 100, but of course, Mr. Jimmy Wigfall, he was our first loss to COVID. First death today. Also had the opportunity to visit Bentonville, Arkansas, at the request of a Thrive group out of Chattanooga, and Barry Allen with Tara Bank took care of the room and everything that we stayed at. But back in the early 80s, late 70s, they created what they call the Northwest Arkansas Council. It's sort of like the Thrive group, except it's only 2 counties up there and about 4 cities. And our Thrive group's 3 states, 16 counties, and 79 municipalities. And the folks from the Northwest Regional Council like to fell out of seats. That's awful big. So it might be a little too big. I don't know. But anyway, it was a good meeting. The biggest thing that come out of that meeting was if we want to grow our county more, it's got to be our business folks. Mayor Turner was there, and I think he'll agree. Elected officials come and go. And We have Walden Foundation, the Tysons, and the J.B. Hunt, they got a little bit more money than we do, but, and they also talked about having to face problems with Friday night lights, like we do here, football nights. So they've had to overcome some of the same issues we have here in our county. It was a good meeting. Actually, Governor Hutchinson came and spoke to us Sunday night. And then on Monday night, we had 4 state representatives and 1 elect state representative hosted dinner for us. So we got to meet some of the state folks, and very impressed with what they've done up there and how they've grown that region. So we're excited about that. Of course, everybody, Dr. Griffith said a while ago, had the groundbreaking on Jackson Middle School, also had the groundbreaking on Food City. The rail spur in New Hope is complete, except for sowing some grass and strawing the banks. We had a little ribbon cutting over there last week, the 18th. I also had a new ribbon cutting for the Colonial Kimball New Employees Center. Our next meeting will be January the 23rd, 6 o'clock. And since we're not meeting between now and Christmas, I want to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year, and everyone stay safe.
Thank you. Any questions for the mayor? All right, hearing none. Madam Clerk, approval of notaries, please.
Matilda Louise West, Travis Lane, Nathan Thomas Arkushenko, Dawn Gatlin, Marty S. Murphy, Vicky K. Messer.
Motion approved.
Second.
Motion made and second. All in favor, saying aye. Aye. Any opposed, like sign. Thank you. Does any commissioner have anything under general business they'd like to bring up tonight? And we'll start off with Commissioner Schaefer.
I attended the Environmental Management TSAC meeting. Had to get my credits in there. It was very interesting. I mean, they covered subjects that I didn't think would be under environment. They covered water, air, land, flooding, you name it, it was covered. I got 81 slides if you want to see what is in there. They brought up a lot of questions, some of which I'm going to talk to Attorney Gallagher about to make sure that we are in compliance with. One thing that really hit me is I'd like to see the audits of the landfill to make sure that we are following the Jackson Law PC 199, which is the closing of the landfill. Because one of the things that they stress is we need to make sure we have enough money set aside to close that landfill since it is county-owned. And if we don't, if there's not enough money set aside, the taxpayers are going to be liable for the rest of that money to close that landfill to meet EPA requirements.
Mr. Shepard, can I address that right quick about that?
Surely.
We have a contract with Marion County Solid Waste Authority that runs and operates the landfill. They have that money, not the county. They're required to keep that money.
I understand that.
But
we got to make sure that there's enough money in those accounts.
They do that. They have that.
That's one of the reasons why I like to see the audits.
You need to talk with Chairman Don Blanchett there, Commissioner Blanchett. He's the chairman of the.
Those books are open.
Yeah.
If you'll get with me, Mr. Schaefer, we'll go check them for you.
Very
Set
good.
up a meeting, we'll.
That audit's not done through the county, Commissioner Shepard.
I understand that.
But the county does actually own the land.
We own the property, but they're required to
And
keep
we
the property.
contract it out. I'm well aware of it.
Well, they quit asking the questions about it.
The other thing that I have is, I went to the landfill to get rid of some property that we had that we no longer needed. They weighed my vehicle with the stuff in it. I unloaded it. They weighed my vehicle, told me it was $20. I paid them in cash, did not get a receipt. We need to have receipts so we have accurate accounting of what goes on in the landfill.
Did you ask for a receipt?
They should offer it.
Did you ask for one?
I did not ask for it. They should offer it to make sure that we are accounting for all the
Well,
money.
you can go out there tomorrow, we'll get you that receipt.
I don't need it now.
Oh, okay.
Also,
Again.
I have some questions. Today we heard a lot about roads. I've done some research. The county allocates $10,000 a year for roads. The rest comes from fuel taxes. This has been in effect for over 15 years. We have not raised the fees that the county puts in to maintain our roads. And here we hear all these roads that need repair. We need to raise the amount of money that we are putting in for roads so that we can maintain our county roads. Amen. I would like to see an additional agenda item, and this was brought up at the Environment Committee. You have a planning commission, you need an zoning commission, so that you have the checks and balances. One zoning comes up and says what can be built and how it can be built in like floodlands, or if the planning commission comes in, they have to follow the zoning rules. We have one commission making all the rules. We need to have the check and balance. We don't have that. I'd like to see that implemented. Mr. Mayor, I've asked for this, and I'm going to narrow it down, and I want to see monthly detail from General Fund 51800 for the following accounts, and I want this in the minutes. 102, 116, and 189 attached to the monthly packets. I want to see how we're spending our money. We are responsible as county commissioners for taxing, setting the tax rates, and also for allocating where the money is being spent. If we don't know where money is being spent, how can we justify the bills every month? We need to know that, and I request that. And I would like to see the questions that I brought attached to the minutes. Thank you.
Nothing else? Is that all?
Well, I can bring up some more if you want.
No, that's good for tonight. Thank you. Thank you. Commissioner Franklin, yes.
Yes, a while back, we had the ambulance bucket was in here, and we're going to have a committee meeting tomorrow about the ambulance contract. And Commissioner Rollins, when they were in here before, you mentioned that you had a problem and they were going to get back with you about that. And Commissioner Mason, you mentioned you had a problem with the ambulance people during that meeting, and did they get back with you about that?
I have not heard back per se from the ambulance.
One of the questions that came up was how many times they were diverted. I think the mayor got some information on that from them, so he's got information in his office, so we need to see that.
Okay, but the gentleman who was the head of this area stated that he would get back.
There was supposed to be a meeting with Mayor Jackson, like at 9:30 the following morning.
That was totally on another thing, Commissioner Mason.
Okay.
Didn't have anything to do with that.
I just, since we're having the meeting, I just wanted to check and see if.
No, I haven't heard from anybody.
Tomorrow, basically what we're gonna do is try to put together what we want in the RFP. Probably not necessarily get down to discussing the contract, but what do you all want to see in the RFP? Because we'll get Billy to put the notice, we're gonna run the notice, it'll come out in the paper next week. But what do you all want to see in the RFP? You know, you want 4 ounces 24 hours a day, you want 6 ounces 24 hours a day, stuff like that's what we're legal, not necessarily the contract per se tomorrow. But what do you all want to see in the RFP goes there?
All right.
I got 3 more items. Going over the minutes for the commission meetings, the Marion County Regional Planning Commission meeting minutes, November 1 of 2022. You have the date up here of December 6, 2022. I'd like to know how you can have it.
That's the next meeting.
Now that says here to the Marion County Regional Planning Commission from Renee Wilson dated December 6, 2022, subject minutes of the November 1st meeting.
Our next meeting's the sixth, next Tuesday.
I think she has the date that she was writing this incorrect. It needs to be corrected.
She wrote it November the 1st, and
Yeah.
then the next meeting is December the 6th. That's a
Well,
typo.
that isn't what it's saying here.
Look down subject, says minutes from November 1st, 2022, Marion County Regional Planning Commission.
I know, but
Yeah.
we need clarification on that. The other thing is, the ag meeting was supposed to meet, I was giving a date. I went to the Lawson building, nobody was there. I went to the county courthouse, nobody was there. So I figured, well, maybe it was canceled, and I wasn't notified. I went home. Mr. Nunley called me, says, "You're on the ag committee, why aren't you here?" And I says, "Oh, I'll be there right away." So I went back to the Lawson building. I was never given an address of where the meeting was being held at. And I heard other commissioners weren't even notified of the meeting. So if that meeting was...
Mr. Schaefer, that meeting notice comes from Danny Bradford, Extension Agent, does not come out of my office.
Well,
we don't even know when they meet.
so I think that meeting needs to be rescheduled.
Well, you need to talk with Danny Bradford, Extension Agent, that comes out of her office, not out of ours. She's the one that schedules those meetings, not us.
Oh, yes, another thing. I'm sorry.
Before we move on, can I address this? I see what the confusion is. This letter, these minutes were actually drafted December the 6th of 2022, and it's for the minutes from the November meeting. This is the minutes from last November's meeting and what we did during that meeting. Yeah, still a time bearer.
The new commissioners have been in office now for 3 meetings. We were told we would be getting our laptops. 3 meetings, I figure that's 91 days. We still haven't gotten them.
Still trying to get one in, I don't have yet from another commissioner.
Well, that shouldn't stop us from getting the others in and getting them set up.
Try and get them all in, and get one guy, get the guy to come in to take you and do it all at one time.
And also, I think, I would like, and I think other commissioners would like, business cards so that we can give out to our constituents.
All right, last time. Anything else, Commissioner Schaefer?
Pardon me? I'm through.
I was going 3 times.
All right, moving on quickly. Commissioner Brand.
Mine's quick. I'd like to ask council to explain the Special Powers Act.
Okay. I'd also make this quick. No, what Commissioner Brandt's referring to is a law that's generally referred to as the County Powers Act. And what it actually refers to is TCA Section 6-2-201. And that is a law that allows counties to opt into some nuisance regulation in the unincorporated areas of the county. And specifically, I'll just read this to you from the statute because it describes what it allows the county to do if you opt into this. You're able to define, prohibit, abate, suppress, prevent, and regulate all acts, practices, conduct, businesses, occupations, callings, trades, uses of property, and all other things whatsoever detrimental or liable to be detrimental to the health, morals, comfort, safety, convenience, or welfare of the inhabitants of the county, and to exercise general police powers. It stops short of being actual zoning, but it does give the county the ability to adopt regulations that would allow it to regulate what are sometimes referred to as nuisances in the unincorporated areas of the county.
And what costs would be associated with that?
Well, it would depend on how you set your regulations up. You'd have to have a permitting process and a person assigned to issue those permits and to investigate complaints of violations, obviously. Most counties that do this or have done this, if they don't already have zoning, which if you have zoning, you really wouldn't need this, but they're doing it through the code enforcement office or the building inspector's office.
And can you give the example of the sand plant?
Yeah, a good example, and some of you may have seen some of this in the media in the last several months. There's a Chancery Court lawsuit in Grundy County where a landowner had bought a large tract of land outside of Tracy City and established or tried to establish a sand plant. and the county filed suit because Grundy County had opted into the County Powers Act and were able to stop, and it was in a residential zone, a residential area, I won't use the word zone, a residential neighborhood. And they were able, at least at the trial court level, to stop that sand plant use. It's on appeal now to the Court of Appeals. So they were able to, in that instance, regulate that use because they being the property owner, had not complied with the county's regulations that had been implemented under the County Powers Act. There's a resolution sample. I've sent it to Commissioner Brandt, so I know he has a copy of it, and I may have given it to another couple of commissioners who asked about it. I'm glad to send it to anybody who wants it, or you can take the copy I have tonight. But it does require, to opt into it, it requires a 2/3 vote of the county commission.
So basically, it's what the cities have that we don't.
Correct.
All right, Mr. Brandt, that
said it's
answer your question. Okay. Commissioner Mason? Mr. Rollins?
I've got two quick, I'll be quicker than you. Mr. Gallagher, have we heard anything from the resolution that we sent to the state over the trees on the side of the road?
I've not. I meant to ask get with the mayor about that this morning, and I'm glad you reminded me that. I changed the court. I forgot to do that.
One other thing I want to bring up, shouldn't take over 2 minutes. I've talked to several people that works at our convenience centers. Convenience centers are a great thing. It's brought to my attention by somebody else, and I've went around and talked to them. 2 years ago, we was pounding people to wash your hands with soap and hot water. They don't have hot water at the convenience centers. A small hot water heater, mid-cost is around $220. Is it possible to get them hot water?
First I've heard, and I haven't never seen anything about it.
Yeah. Right, yeah, I've just, I had one mentioned to me and I stopped at the other ones and.
Nobody's ever said it. Yeah. I to be honest with you, Commissioner Ross, I didn't know because I thought they had hot water.
Yeah.
So I never had answered the question, so.
That can fall under something you can take care of yourself, correct, Mayor?
Yes. Thank you. I told you I'm done.
Anything else? Are you sure, Commissioner Rollins?
He does go around with that.
What about
Since you brought it up.
Monday?
I'm sorry. December the 5th, around 6 o'clock, for the county commissioners, wives, husbands. We've never done it. If you'd like to, just have a get-together at Western Sizzlin, 6 o'clock, let me know, and we'll have a spot reserved for us.
Who's paying?
Dutch, or Stag, or you're paying yourself.
Dutch tree.
Since David is chairman, I'm gonna buy his, but he's gonna be out of town. He can't come.
I'm saving it till next year, rain check. Thank you, Commissioner Rollins. That's everything. Commissioner Morrison?
I just want with Attorney Gallagher to make sure that we're still working on the easements.
Yes, sir.
Thank you.
Hope to have all of that finished and fingers crossed, signatures by the end of the year.
Thank you.
That's the plan.
Commissioner Hargis?
Good.
Good. Ms. Fanger?
I'm good, thank you.
I'll pass.
Cantrell, anything?
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Do you agree with that?
No, we got enough business.
We have to do it.
We got enough business.
Well,
Hold on to that.
we're on the longest meeting I've ever been
Commissioner
in.
Nunley, do you have anything?
Mr. Chairman, we have Mr. Johnson here who bought some property from the county up in Ladd's Cove. That doesn't exist.
Oh, snap.
I'm gonna let Attorney Gallagher address that and how that has come about.
We're glad to explain it, Mayor, and some of you have been on this commission a number of years.
At least it didn't sell another county.
That's right. This won't be a surprise to any of you, but it's one of the reasons sometimes that these parcels, are sold in the tax sale and wind up being bought in by the county. It's because they have problems. And we don't always know that. sometimes after the fact, like Mr. Johnson's situation, where he had the property surveyed. And as it turned out, and I've spoken to the surveyor, he explained this to me about how it happened. The parcel that Mr. Johnson bought, that was bought in by the county at the tax sale, was combined with another larger parcel. But when that combination took place, they did not, in the assessor's office, delete the older, smaller parcel. So taxes continued to accrue on it. Obviously, the property owners who had it didn't pay those taxes because they knew that the parcel had been combined with the other one. And it becomes delinquent, goes through the sale, county bids it in, and it goes on the county's list. So Mr. Johnson had no way of knowing when he bought it until he had it surveyed that it technically, is part of now someone else's property. And I know what the law is, and he knows what the law is. He buys this at his own risk, but it's not been the practice of this commission, when it's been at no fault of the property owner, of the purchaser, to hold them to that. You've always refunded the money back to them so that they didn't actually lose anything. And I think that's only fair in this circumstance. He had no way of knowing, the county had no way of knowing until the survey work was done by Mr. Dancy, that's what had happened.
How much is that?
I didn't know it was on for tonight. Bruce, do you know what the amount was you paid? I know you had a survey expense too that you wanted to ask that you be reimbursed.
You're talking about the total amount?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
It's about $6,500, $6,600. That was the survey and
your purchase
of the property and the lawyer's costs.
Right, for the fees.
Of course, what happens is you didn't pay those, and then they continue on to go back on the tax sale, and the next person's gonna have that same. So.
Well, I mean, that's got to be corrected in the courthouse,
Sure, right.
because,
Yeah.
and I'd be glad to forward it with somebody, because it still shows up. I mean, I have a new tax bill for it, for this year, and there's no property.
That's not the first time. That's not the first
So
time.
it's-
I just don't understand. I don't understand. We've had this before, and somebody in the courthouse should be taking care of this. I'm telling you, I don't understand how this is not the first time this has happened. It's about the fourth or fifth.
Well, it's been a battle for me. I've been dealing with this for almost, a year. It was a year ago, September, I thought.
And I've been listening to it.
When somebody buys a piece of property out there and it's surveyed, and, you pull up on the Tennessee tax map, and it shows the outline of that property, then somebody in one of those offices down there, the clerk and master or somebody, should be looking at those and combining those. They should be cleaned up. But that's I'm telling you, it's embarrassing to me and everybody else on this commission when something like that happens to this gentleman. We got, he's not going to be, you're not going to lose any money. We're going to make you whole on that part of it. But the thing about it is, there's got to be a system that they're not going through and cleaning up some of these parcels where they're adding them together.
I can't disagree with you. With the GIS system that is in existence in the courthouse now, which you all purchased several years ago, the technology is much better than it used to be.
Right.
Well, he'll be glad to give them the survey copy, won't you, Bruce?
Yeah.
What?
You'll be glad to give them the survey copy so they can use it in the courthouse.
I do have a survey copy, but it's combined with the property around it now, so
It belongs to the other property.
it's useless to have the.
You got a surveyed property of the piece of property you bought,
I've got a survey of the.
but it's been combined with properties on either side of it. So it's not there anymore. That's why
owned by
you didn't
somebody.
have any property on it. You got there.
It
But
was-
that should have been caught in the
It
county
was
somewhere.
originally combined in 2006, and it's been sold twice since then, to people with it combined. But I didn't know that, and the county records didn't show it, so.
I make a motion that we reimburse him the cost that he paid the county for the property. His upon receipt that where he paid Mr. Dancy for the surveying cost, and his attorney fee upon receipt to the mayor's office.
Everybody second it.
Counselor, let me ask you a question. Would there not have been documentation, like an assembly paperwork saying that this has been assembled into a larger tract?
Well, the combination of this smaller tract into the larger tract was done in a deed. And that deed was, of course, recorded in the registrar's office and worked through the assessor's office. I don't have an explanation for how the combination on the maps didn't take place. And of course, Mr. Pitton, the current assessor, he wasn't there back when this was happening. I mean, we're at least 3 or 4 assessors ago. So I'm not sure, you know, how
I can
that
answer
happened.
that.
You may have an answer.
Yeah, it was back in the 80s, there was a parcel, several acres, and there was a 1 acre in this parcel deeded for a Jim Moore house.
Correct.
I tracked this thing back into the 70s. And the house burned around 2000, 2001. And then the guy that owned the property around it purchased it in 2005, the 1 acre, along with what he owned around it. And then when he sold it, you know, the deeds before then had this property that I bought, purchased, was, it was, I forgot what they called it.
It was an exception. It was accepted out.
It was set aside.
Right.
The exception of this property. Well, when he sold it, the exception was gone because he owned the entire property. He took the exception out and sold it. But the county was still saying, collecting taxes, 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 taxes. It wasn't there.
So you heard Commissioner Hargis' motion, Commissioner Schaefer second. All in favor saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, like sign.
Bruce, if you'll bring me up the receipt stuff, we'll get that check cut.
All right, now we'll move on to Commissioner Cantrell made a motion and Commissioner Nunley seconded.
No, I did.
To adjourn. All in favor saying aye. Aye. Yes, sir. Sorry, Mr. Gray.
Can I say something?
Yes.
The commissioners need to keep an open mind on these new road commissioners qualified before they make a decision, to hear their qualifications. The resume.
Thank you.